The most certain thing that we learned and confirmed in this time of uncertainty, political and medical, is that how our election from the national level all the way down to the community level is split almost exactly 50-50 when it comes to supporting the two political parties. In this age of deep polarization, it is tempting to literally write off half the community that didn't vote for the person that you did. I speak personally and say that now having several elections basically split 50-50, and how polarized this country has come has made me realize that we can't write each other off. We cannot have half the country divorce the other half. Sure, each side may dream of breaking America into red America and to blue America, but that's impossible. We are too intertwined with one another. We are united by our common defense, our common finances. Think about if it was a divorce, who would get the Social Security payments? If we thought Brexit was bad, then Americans splitting in half would be twice as worse. And we know that there aren't blue and red states. We are all mixed up together. We literally have electoral polarization in our own families, in our own marital beds. We are also incorrect if we assume that a person who votes for someone endorses everything about that candidate. The challenging thing about an election is that you have to choose just one person with all of the aspects of their character and their policy choices. The ones you agree with, the ones that you disagree with. As much as we would like to choose a little from column A and a little from column B, we can't. Yes, we can try to lobby the politician that we choose, the one that is elected and comes into power, but there's no guarantees. The ideal part of the democratic process, of course, is the give and take and the compromise. And we need to do some work on that, because the give and take and compromise is lacking. Pushing each other away, divorcing each other won't and can't work. In this week's Parsha, we read of an episode where Ishmael starts to mitzachek et Yitzchak. The action causes Sarah to ask Abraham, and with God's approval, to banish Ishmael and Hagar. Interpretations differ as to what exactly mitzachek means. What did Ishmael do that caused Sarah to ask for his banishment? Some say that he was just roughhousing with his half-brother. Others say he was bullying. And some say that Ishmael was physically abusing Isaac. Except for the last one, we can ask, did Sarah do the right thing? Was there no way that Ishmael and Yitzchak could coexist? The Torah beautifully leaves the interpretation and judging of each episode to all of the readers every single year. And we are allowed to say that our ancestors made mistakes. So this year around, I would like to perhaps suggest that Sarah, by extension Abraham, and yes, even a little bit with God, were mistaken to allow the banishment of Ishmael and Hagar. Doing so was akin to secession, to divorce, separating two children into two warring nations. Ishmael has 12 sons to fulfill the promise that Abraham would be Av Hamon Goyim, the father of many nations. Jacob, Ishmael's nephew, has 12 sons that become the 12 tribes of Israel. What would it look like if these cousins hung out with each other at the Passover table, the Thanksgiving table, you name the holiday, or even argued with each other at this holiday table? But when push came to shove, whether someone was in financial need or someone was sick, these cousins were there for each other. Our U.S. house, our national house, is divided. And we know from Abraham Lincoln, a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. My dream in this post-election time is that we recommit ourselves to learning to live with each other. If that means not talking about politics, so be it. When was the last time you asked your doctor who he or she voted for, or vice versa? Instead, you worked on the healing relationship between the doctor and the patients. We can do that with all people, with the people who cut our hair, the people in the grocery store, the people we see on the street. We can't wait for the elected leaders to heal us, though I pray that the leaders from both parties learn to work with each other again. Yes, we can debate important policy, but we cannot vilify and practice scorched earth living. We each have a role to play in our collective house. After Ishmael is banished, Isaac encounters Avimelech and his people who fill the wells that Isaac dug. Instead of fighting, Avimelech and Yitzchak make a pact of peace. The place is then called Beersheba. If we want to thrive and drink from the well of peace, we must get along. Beautifully, after Election Day comes Veterans Day, a day where we celebrate and recognize the service, the avodah that our veterans have given to our country. And we know that the world stands on three things: Torah, avodah, and gemilut chasadim. The wisdom of the Torah, service to one another, and deeds of loving kindness. So on this Veterans Day week, let us recommit ourselves to those three pillars, especially the one of service and gemilut chasadim. And may we find ourselves in a house that's united once again. And let us all say, Amen.